Is there a person that anytime you're around them, something shifts, okay? And you feel like you're hoping that that feeling is mutual. In this video, I'm going to break down what behaviors to look out for so that you don't end up messing things up. And if you're married and you want to rekindle things, these are the signs that you want to look out for that will help your partner feel like you guys can reconnect again. All right? So my name is Macdo. I'm a husband, father, and someone that's worked with men for the past, I'd say officially 3 years, but prior to that, started when I was 16. And it's been my personal mission to ensure that we don't just build better relationships, but as men and women, we learn how to lead ourselves so that our partners can benefit from it. Okay, cool. So without further ado, let's dive in. So a lot of the times, mutual attraction is driven by patterns. Patterns provide evidence. Evidence provides certainty. Certainty is what creates the confidence that allows you to take action. Okay? However, the questions that I think a lot of people should be asking and they're not asking is things like what keeps happening, what changed around me, right? So, say for instance, you feel like your partner is no longer the same person she used to be. What changed around you? I'm going to do a video where I show you guys with the exact same method how to spot when your partner is starting to resent you. But today we're going to talk about positivity and attraction, okay? So, again, what are the usual signs, right? The usual signs are, okay, because she smiles at me, clearly she's into me. But that could generally mean that she's just being polite, right? Or your wife is kind of like hiding the mask and saying, I'm just going to smile at him because that's the right thing or what I'm supposed to do. Then you have touch. Touch is clearly what gives you certainty. You think that if someone keeps touching you, clearly they must be interested. That might be a sign, but that might also mean that they're affectionate. All these signs, so eye contact for instance, that's another one, right? A lot of us think that because someone is giving us eye contact, that clearly means that they like the tension that we're creating and therefore they're also interested. Again, wrong again. Why? Because you're also dealing with someone that's really confident. So you could literally lead yourself into the rejection pit or not initiating a very romantic night because you're misreading these signs. And what is the cost of misreading the signs? Again, you get rejected. If you don't know how to deal with rejection because you were relying or you were certain that they were interested in you, what happens next? You lose composure. What happens when you lose composure? Whatever you were trying to achieve is completely taken away from you. Okay? Because in order for you to get it, you have to sustain it. Cool. So, what are the 15 signs? Let's dive in straight away. Okay, cool. So the first sign you want to look out for, the behavioral pattern you actually want to look out for, is proximity. How close are they getting to you, right? And I want you to think about it this way. If someone is always thinking, how do I get as close as possible to him? How do I get as close as possible to his presence, right? That is a sign that they may not have realized it, but their nervous system is starting to take attraction or heat to you. So that's a positive sign. So that's what you want to look out for. And in order for that to happen, this is why it's critical for you to create a safe space that allows them to feel that they're being welcomed in. This is why things like feeling good about yourself, dressing well, smelling nice are all critical points which I help people with. Number 2, attention pendulum. Okay? Now, with the attention pendulum, the way I want you to think about it is there's a swing, right? But because this swing is driven by focus, that focus, so imagine you're here, it's always sort of leaning towards you regardless of what the conversation is. So they may have maybe it's a group session, right? And then she now ends up saying, oh, by the way, how are you doing? Right, let's call you Jack. Right? Oh, Jack, how are you doing? Right? This is for the single guys. If you're in a relationship, your wife is constantly checking in on you. That's a sign that despite her not smiling at you, touching you, having eye contact, again, her behavioral pattern is still leaning towards you. These are all nervous system signs that are saying that I want to get closer to this person, or I'm interested in this person, or I'm paying attention to this person, or I'm infatuated. Another thing, number 3, is the small details. Okay? You're having conversations and they pay attention to the small details and they remember it. And then next time they have a conversation, oh yeah, remember how you were saying to me that your grandma's not doing to you, or how's she doing today? Is she fine? Because I remember you saying that, she was ill. Wow, you remembered. That is a behavioral pattern that signals that this person is starting to get invested into you. All right. Number four, conversations extend. Now this one here is the one where you can confuse yourself with someone that you're really friendly with and someone that's really interested in you. Now the difference with this, however, is the conversation extension being based on attraction is based on the person wanting to intentionally extend. If it's based on friendship, it's just based on a clear value exchange. Right? Again, conversation extension, when it's connected to proximity, simply states that even though the conversation should be done, seems to be naturally done, there she is, and let's stay a bit more. Right? There should have been an interruption, but they choose to carry on that conversation instead. Okay? Does that make sense? It's not like 100% accurate all the time, so I don't want you to look too deep into it, but it's things that you want you to start to pay attention to. What I want you guys to do is learn how to observe without judging, okay? Just notice and then take notes, and then utilize those notes to then create an idea or picture that either serves you or gives you the clarity you need to take the necessary actions. That's what I want this channel to be about and this video to be about for you. You don't go into these sites blindsided again, okay? Now I help people through my 12-week coaching achieve this based on their personal situations. I'll give you an example. One of my recent clients was dealing with a breakup. Now, how he overcame it was by understanding who he was under pressure. So when the breakup happened, it was simple. They were misaligned. What happened on the call? I called him. I said, yeah, how's it going? He said, yeah, I'm good. I said, you sure? Yeah. I'm actually better than I ever thought. Like, this shit works. This is great. And I'm like, yeah, I felt bad telling people that I was this good. And I was like, damn. Right? This is a young man. I wish I had gone through heartbreak and someone had supported me through rehabilitating myself. Because the support I had at the time was my dad saying to me, be strong. There's plenty of women out there in the fish. There's fishes in the sea. You'll be fine. That doesn't help. You need a structure, you need a system that allows you to rehabilitate how you're going to rebuild. When you deal with failure, understanding how to get back up is by far one of the best investments you can make. But on top of that, you don't just get back up, you get back up stronger. You understand what caused you to fall in the first place. You understand with clarity how to put yourself in that position again. All right. So, the next thing is future contact, okay? So they don't want the conversation to end, right? Say for instance, this is a co-working situation. This person is generally trying to make sure that the conversation continues. So maybe they reach out to you on social media or say, hey, let's watch your socials, or whatever the case may be. If now you're married or you're in a situation where you're now dealing with someone that's really, your wife is trying to rekindle things, they're saying, okay, let's spend more time together. This is intentional request for time, okay? These things don't just stop happening because you're in a relationship. These things actually continue. And if well nurtured, build a very healthy dynamic, right? Cool. Now, progressing investment. Now, this is a critical one because a lot of people miss it. A lot of men are so focused on providing and catering to women that they're forgetting that women also want to invest. In fact, women should invest too, right? And the way they invest is by checking in on your diary, seeing your availability, wanting to give you gifts and stuff. The less likely they are to want to invest in you, the less interested they potentially are. In fact, I'd argue that if you want to create a trusting environment, you should allow them to invest. You should allow them to pour into the relationship, because the moment the person is invested, I want to say the same way as you are, but they're invested. They've put in some effort in getting to know you, whatever the case is. Not only is it easier for you to reciprocate, but it creates a natural dynamic that allows you guys to feel like you want each other. You don't need each other, you want each other. Cool. And bearing in mind, this is not about your pleasure. This is about creating the certainty the dynamic needs to build the healthy foundation you need in knowing that you're not just pouring into someone that has zero interest in you. And that's what this video is also about, helping you understand who to invest and who not to invest. Because a lot of times when I speak to clients that have been messed up and dealt with the wrong person a lot. By this, if you would have gotten to point 6 and known that you were trying to turn something that wasn't there into something that was there, hoping, and then seeing that maybe this transformed like this could turn me into, and it's not that. It doesn't get to that. Number 7, availability. Now, again, kind of ties into investment, but what they're going to ask you is, they're going to be very intentional about being available to you. They're going to be very intentional when you pick up the call. Oh yeah, he's him calling me. And they may not, let me make this clear, they may not be always active or always available, but there's intention. It's either they're asking you. I'll give you an example. This is one thing I used to do when I was single. If someone couldn't make it on a date, or if the date didn't work out for the both of us, one thing I'll check for clearly is, are they offering an alternative? Especially if they're the ones declining it. Because a lot of times when they're declining it and there's no alternative to it, they're telling you everything you need to know. Right? Not saying all the time, because sometimes it might be stress, family. This is nuance, right? But most times than not, you're going to sense it. There's going to be times where they're going through things and they're not in the picture, and that's fine. But there's times where you thought they were invested, or you're invested, there's nothing really going wrong, and there's no alternative, there's no request for availability. They're just assuming, or there's no desire or sense to show that they actually value your time. Okay, next one, validation. They seek for your validation, right? Not in a desperate way. Well, some people will, because not everyone's healed, unfortunately. In fact, I'd argue that if you're watching this channel and you're part of the people that have actually healed, or if you haven't healed, you're in the process of healing, you're part of the very few minorities out there. Most people out there probably going to take this to heed very, very heavily, right? So when I say they're seeking validation, what do I mean by that? I mean that they're in this space where they care about your opinion, right? My wife does this thing all the time, indirectly. She wears something and says, what do you think of this? And you like it. Do you think it makes me look pretty? And I give her the validation, right? But that's a sign of attraction. That's a sign that she cares about my opinion. She didn't have to, she didn't ask, she didn't need to ask. But the reason why she asked is because she cares about my validation, right? So these are signs you want to look off. Even if you're married, these are signs that reinforce the bond you guys have built together, right? Next one is competition. Again, that's another thing. A lot of women are territorial when they value you. This is why it's key for you to become a man that's certain about himself. Okay? I know that a lot of people on social media are saying, be a high value man. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about, yes, present the best foot forward, go for whatever your mission is, go and achieve it. Become a man of purpose that takes care of himself. That is my definition of high value man. Because I've seen people with billionaires who are absolutely emotionally broke. I've seen people with millions that lost it all overnight because they didn't know how to handle pressure. So I say this to say, be a man of purpose that takes care of himself. It's not just about looking good, it's about being good. Do you understand? Cool. So competition. When now someone comes, let's say there's someone that they also find attractive, or they think it will be attracted to you. You're going to spot immediately that there's tension, right? I'll give you an example. Sometimes my wife will completely ignore some of my female clients. Don't think it's nice, but I kind of get it, okay? Or she'll completely ignore some of the friends I made in the past who happen to be women. Again, I kind of get it, but it's her nervous system noticing these people as not necessarily competition, but as people that she wants nothing to do with in the midst of building with me, right? Does that make sense? So you're going to sense the animosity, that there's not going to be like a straightforward, oh yeah, everyone's cool, everyone's happy. No, that's not going to be the case. Next, personal closure. Okay, now with this one, it gets really interesting because they're going to want to build a personal relationship with you, especially there's going to be an intent to desire to get as close as possible. That's how you know the difference between friendliness and intention, right? They're going to want to get closer to you. They're going to want to know, how do we extend this? Right? And we're going to lead into the next one, number 11. They're going to test boundaries. Right? Again, this is how you know, and these are all signs that once you understand, you're aware, okay, cool, my wife's male friend or my husband's female friend, are they testing boundaries? Are they hit all the way to 11? Ooh, I need to watch out, right? Because these are all signs the other party is pretty much doing unawarely because they're interested in whoever you're dealing with. Or, like I said, it's all about understanding the position you play in all of this. Number 12. Your key is setting the boundaries and noticing the personal treatment difference. Okay? So observe how they treat others in comparison to how they treat you. That tells you that number 1, there's an intent, and number 2, there's definitely some sort of thing going on here. Again, I'll give another example. When I first got with my wife, in fact, that's how I knew she was going to be my wife. I was in a phase where I was cutting everyone off, right? A few weeks before that, I told anyone I was speaking to at the time, I'm not interested, let's call it a day, I want to focus on myself. And they were like, I'm gutted. No, but I can give you the time to focus on your goals and ambitions and we can still catch up here and there. I was like, nope, I want no business in you. And then my wife came. And when she came into the picture and I let them know that this wasn't a temporary thing, this is now a permanent thing because I'm now getting into a relationship, they went ballistic, right? And that shows you the personal difference, right? I had women who I was having fun with, but then I had a woman who I was interested in building with. And there's a personal difference to that. And I think if you're a woman watching this, you need to understand that with clarity so that you don't get yourself into spaces you're not supposed to. Because when you can't notice the difference between the people that he's just sleeping with and having fun with and the people that he wants to build with, trust and believe you might be the person that he's just having fun with. So you need to look out for that. And you don't ask for it, you observe it. These are all things that you observe. You don't ask, hey, can we have some personal... No, you observe them. This is something that you're just watching as you're being intentional too, by the way, right? Number 13, low risk exchange. Okay, this is where indirectly they're going to test you, right? But like I said, in a low risk manner. They're going to test you to see if you feel the same way about them. Okay, so it might be, okay, this is where sometimes even when you're single, a lot of people miss out on this. Like women, the guy is trying to see if he's interested, and there you are waiting for him, and he's like, I need to know if you're interested so I can keep doing this. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna wait for him. And he's like, okay, clearly she's not interested. That's how it happens. You decline the low risk exchange. Okay, so look out for those low risk exchange and take action accordingly so that they can understand with clarity what to expect. Number 14, reciprocity. That's such a big thing. Man, woman, you freaking name it. Everybody wants reciprocity. If someone genuinely says to you that I want you to do nothing for me and all I'm going to do is take care of you, right? I want you to make sure you're aware of the fact that he's potentially neglecting himself and he's okay with it and he's been doing it for a very long time. And someone that neglects themselves will eventually neglect you. Why? Because they're used to it. Whatever they feel about themselves is going to be amplified. Number 15, environment exploration. This is when they're going to test different environments. Maybe you guys are at work, they're going to test a fun event, a concert, something light-hearted. See how you deal with social pressure, social confidence. Social confidence is something that makes women feel safe. So they're going to test to see. If you're married and you're in a relationship, again, exact same thing. If they feel like you've gone for a rocky season, they're going to explore. They're going to want to explore different things. This is how sometimes when I work with couples I've worked with in the past, for instance, they tried kinky things, right? Describe, because like I said, it's private work. But they want to explore to see how you navigate in social environments? Where do you place yourself? Do you bow to the hierarchy, or do you own? Are you a king or a pawn? Right? These are all things that you need to start to believe about yourself before you get into this space. Right, next in line is the 3 routes as to how you ensure that this is well established. Okay, so I've told you what to look out for, and I'm telling you how to do it. So first things first, establish a baseline. Okay, that's step 1. The reason why you want to establish the baselines is so that you can notice where there's incongruencies, there's inconsistencies. Okay, the baseline is we're in a relationship, we're single, we're co-workers, we're a married couple. When you can establish the baseline, anything that comes out is able to be noticed. But in order for you to do that, you must have a personal baseline, which a lot of us don't have, because once emotions get involved, guess what happens? Our baseline is reactive, or it's just focused on ensuring that we match whatever baseline we've been given. This is why I'm a very big advocate against matching energies, because it keeps you blind. Because when you're focused on matching energies, you don't get to see what's right in front of you, because you're just focusing on how you described or viewed whatever's happened to you. Number 2, look out for repetition. What keeps repeating itself? What have I seen more than once? Have I seen proximity? Have I seen attention? Have I seen availability? Have I seen competition? Have I seen environments being explored? Have I seen low risk exchange? What have I seen repetitively? Okay, all right. Now, this is all based on being able to observe these things without judging them, right? Just allowing them to flourish or become something of themselves. The last one but not least is, has this person invested? It doesn't have to be financially. It can be emotionally. Have they checked in? Are they seen how I'm doing? If you're a husband, is this woman checking on me just to see if I'm okay? Okay, you guys have gone through a rocky season. You want to look out for investment to see if she's actually looking to rekindle things. Okay, vice versa, by the way, because that will tell you whether you can start looking forward to any of these 2. All right. Now, again, what I've done in this video is describe to you what happens. However, the issue I find a lot of times, and the reason why a lot of people end up working with me, despite the value I've delivered, is because when we actually sit down and process what's actually happening, we tend to find that what's stopping us from seeing things the way I was able to see this is the fact that we have a story that's been running the show this whole time. So instead of us internalizing what's actually happening, we already have a story that rewires everything we see based on how we're used to seeing it. And if you want to change that, then you're going to have to go through the process that allows you to step back, see things for what they are, and then move accordingly with clarity, with execution. And if you feel confused, if you feel like someone that's not certain, that's exactly the work I do when I work with people on a one-to-one basis. Now, if you're interested in working with me, book a call in the bio or in the comments somewhere. I'm going to put my website, and I'm going to take you through the questionnaire. And if you are eligible, you will be able to sit down and have a call. Okay? Now, I really hope this video has been valuable to you, and I will see you in the next one.